Welcome back. We're here in my kitchen. Sundays are usually my food prep days. Try and kind of go through the fridge, clear out what we've got, do a little bit of a better meal, and then get ready for my lunches for the week. One big thing is I always try and have a salad for work, and then usually leftovers. And then I do a yogurt parfait in the morning where I do frozen raspberries, some Greek yogurt, and then some granola on top. So earlier I cut up the rest of my Brussels sprouts, carrots, and then I'd half an onion. I like onions, so I'll save that. And then I'll usually do like a spring mix. I have some goat cheese in the fridge as well. And then as far as clearing out the fridge for dinner, we are going to do a meatloaf. It's just my egg. I did find this awesome pan at the thrift store that has ridges and a drain hole. Fits right in here, so you get to drain off your meatloaf. So we're going to try that for the first time today. I'm excited about that. And then we're just going to do a ton of roast veggies to clear out the fridge. We have our potatoes, which my son helped me wash and then cut up, and we're just going to roast those on a big sheet pan. I have 2 eggplants that were left from doing baba ganoush earlier this week. My son saw on a show. We wanted to give it a try. He, of course, only liked the pita part of it, but I like eggplant historically. I haven't really tried it a lot as an adult, so I'm going to roast this. I found a recipe on parchment paper to kind of caramelize it. And so, you know, the Brussels sprouts, before they went bad, I'll roast those too. And this is a ton of vegetables, but I will portion it out for my lunches for the week. And then try and get my husband to eat some leftovers too. We'll roast some carrots, and then the onions are for our meatloaf. So I've got a little bit going on. We also had some old bananas, so I've got some banana bread going in the oven. And then for our snack while we were cooking, finishing off the barbecue pork. I got a big thing of it at Costco for $15, and it was really good. I did some portion snacks for work, and then we did pork fried rice, which my coworker suggested that I do the rice the night before and then let it dry out in the fridge. And it definitely made a difference. It was much better that way. It definitely wasn't mushy, and then the leftovers reheated really well. So I was pretty happy with that. So we'll think about that in the future, getting some more barbecue pork from Costco. Kind of my last thing before dinner starts, I have been working on a sourdough starter. Like everyone else, I did it during COVID. Oh, and then I was pregnant. It smelled really bad. And so, of course, I stopped doing it and then never brought it up again. But I figured I'd try it now. I did get one of those Banneton shapers. I do still need a Dutch oven, but we are on day 5, so I'm not anywhere near getting to that point. We all like sourdough. We get it from the local bakery. So I figured I'd just give it a try. I do have a bread machine to do other things, but I thought sourdough might be fun, especially teaching my kiddo. And, you know, all it takes is some flour, and that's about it. I did start, I'm following the King Arthur recipe. They recommend starting with the whole wheat flour and then feeding it with all-purpose. It was more than double every day until yesterday, so I'm not sure what changed. I am saving all of the discard in the fridge. It is something we can feed to our chickens. I have read. I haven't tried it. My chickens are a little older and a little bougie and don't really like eating a whole lot of leftovers. I did get the compost bin. It has the lid with the carbon filter. We filled it today, and they just took it down and fed to the chickens. At least it gives them something to do in the winter. Even if they don't eat it all, it gives them something to kind of spread out and sort. But we'll keep an eye on it and make sure that they don't have anything rotting in there. My oldest chicken, she's about 10, a little bantam. She will eat everything, but the other 2, like, it's not good enough for me. They prefer their pellets. But yeah, so I'm going to feed this, kind of start over. Not really start over, but it said to continue feeding it twice a day until you're comfortable getting double the rise, and then from there I can start trying some bread. Looking up the bread recipe, it looks like it's kind of an all-day process, so it might not actually be feasible in my life, but maybe on the weekends or maybe on Mondays. Sometimes I do a part day working on Mondays, sometimes I don't go in at all. I like to be able to get some sewing while my son's at school. But then maybe that's a good day that I can get it done. I just like to try it. I mean, homemade bread is good. Sometimes we go through a ton of bread, and sometimes all of our bread just ends up molding. So I have also been trying, as a kid, you know, we used to always freeze our loaves of bread. And they would thaw out just fine, but I feel like the last couple I've thawed out have been kind of mushy. So for me, I have just been toasting mine straight out of the freezer, and that does just fine. The thin slice oat bread that I get for my son, we go through that enough, because at least like a safe food that he'll eat is peanut butter and jelly. We were just talking about it today that, you know, he used to try anything I put in front of him, and now everything is questionable. So it must just be an age thing. I mean, that kid, he's eaten a lot of different food, and then now we're starting to get a little picky. So that's okay. Just part of life and part of growing up. So it says to reserve 113 grams of the starter. Kitten, no thank you. I know, you aren't supposed to be on the kitchen counter anyways. She's 12 years old and still gets on the counter, even though it's been a lifelong rule to not get on the kitchen counter. No thank you. But yeah, so I'll give that a try today. I am supposed to be feeding it every 12 hours, but I overdid yesterday. I kind of rearranged our basement and filled my car with stuff to donate, and try to be conscious of like what we're actually using and not just hoarding things, because if we're not using it, we haven't taken it out, you know, my things that have been put away for a year. It's been 4 seasons. I used to be a lot better at kind of rotating through my things. But I just took down Christmas stuff. What did we use? What did we not use? What do I want to give another chance next year before I get rid of it? So, trying to be more food conscious, using what we have, clearing out the fridge, making sure it goes to the chickens or the composter. I have not been great about using the composter. I usually pass that task off to my husband. But actually like setting things aside to go in the compost. I used to just do like a metal bowl, but our dog really, she can jump on these counters and open cupboards, so all food has to go in the pantry. So at least this bin that has the lid will be much more helpful. So thank you. So I've got everything out for resetting my starter. I have been doing a new jar each time because my last jar was getting really gunky. Kind of wonder if that might be part of the issue. So we are going to get a new jar. I'm going to tear it out, and then I'm just going to take this down to 113 grams and leave it in this jar and see if that maybe makes a difference. I have enough of these big jars that I thought rotating wouldn't be a problem, but yeah, I don't know why it didn't grow, so we'll see. I know 113 grams is about half a cup, so let's see how I guess. 154. It's kind of spider webby in the bottom. I feel like, okay, maybe it's doing something down there. 125. I'm just gonna get as close. I mean, I hear baking is kind of a precise science, but I'm not that patient. See, now it's down to 108, so I took too much. I'd rather be over, I think, than under. Come on, come on. 118. I'm fine with that. Okay. Half a cup of cold water. Again, I feel like people do this by weight of water. I think I'm just going to get to a point where I can make bread, decide if I like it, then do I want to be that particular. And then 1 cup of flour. Maybe let's stir this a little first. It does say if your room is not very warm to use lukewarm water. Our house is like 70 degrees. I put it on my top of my fridge, which is right by my oven. Heat rises. We have this awful drop down ceiling with the fluorescent lights, so I think I'm covered as far as temperature goes. 1 cup. I always spill a little. Maybe a lot more than a little. I'll go back to using my half cup measurement to get that in. Pull this down. I am just using cheap Walmart flour for now. Again, I'm not much of a baker. I much more prefer cooking. And so probably as I get more into baking, doing those things from home, it's a lot easier, especially to do with my kiddo. We can learn together, those kind of things. I will probably get into better ingredients, but for now I think Walmart brand is perfectly fine. I'll just switch over, you know, when I bulk buy to Kirkland brand, I guess is Costco's. Costco's about an hour away. Walmart's 20 minutes away. I would prefer to buy more at Costco at this point. We finally just got our membership. So kind of building up to that. You know, the first time I went, I spent about less than $200, but I got some thick pork chops. Next time I think I'll cut them in half. Lengthwise. Not half this way, half this way. They are quite thick. I haven't tried cooking any yet, but I froze them. Froze chicken. I don't need any beef. I still have beef from my parents. Get a quarter of a cow from them every other year or so. Alright. And we'll just see how that rises. We'll go from there. Hands. So that's kind of been my Sunday routine for a while now, is to clean out the fridge, prep some food for the week, try and do a nicer dinner on the weekend since I'm not working. Mondays I work part day, so I usually come home, cook something a little nicer, have it ready, and then our meals on Tuesday through Friday. We do McDonald's once a week. It's the only fast food around here, and it's on the way home from my kids' school. Otherwise, the nearest fast food, again, is about an hour away. So we'll take the McDonald's once a week. You can get a Happy Meal. I can get a small meal. Usually spend like 15 bucks for us. Makes them happy. Other than that, just try and keep it quick and easy for the week. Leftovers, try and go through those. And yeah, I think that'll do it. I'll get started on the meatloaf. The banana bread probably has about 45 minutes still. We'll do the meatloaf, I'll roast all those veggies, and we'll just have a day of it. Hope you enjoy the rest of your Sunday.